Alright, guys. Ended up getting a little haul here in the last 2 weeks. The first set of books is actually my birthday last week, and I went to see some friends who invited me to a birthday dinner. And I stopped by the old comic book shop, D&J Hobby Shop. If you want to go back and look at my videos of Tales of the D&J Hobby Shop, and I got to grab a few books. And when I went to pay for him, he was like, "Happy birthday," and just made me take them. There's two, three books here where I don't know where they came from, so they may have popped up in another video, but I'm going to throw them in this haul. And then the second bunch of books, Sunday, what would that have been? March 8th, I guess. We finally had a day of some nice weather, okay? Sun came out, blue sky, snow was melting everywhere, um, no locusts, no more blizzards, no -0 temperatures and stuff. So I grabbed a bunch of books that I just wanted rid of, and the only way I could think of to get rid of them any other way would probably be like take them to a Goodwill or donate them or something. But it was a bunch of Young All Star, Marvel's Nth Man, odds and ends. Probably came to around between 50 and 60 books, and I ended up trading those. One guy gave me, let's see, what was it? I got a couple books off of him, and I was trading him two of my books for one of his. Then I talked to another guy there, and I ended up getting more or less $30 store credit. Uh, Talked him down into like 13 books for $10. He gave me $10, and I got $10 credit with him still. So I ended up getting a couple of DVD sets, which I don't have in front of me. No big deal. And lunch, went to a place called Ollie's, and I picked up a wrestling DVD of the High Flyers. Some of those matches I really like. Just about everybody in those videos have busted knees and stuff nowadays. Rey Mysterio and all those. And then I ended up getting season 5 of Two and a Half Men for $5 or for $3. They had them that season set for $3, and I think the other one was $3 too. So that's what I'm saying. Then I ended up getting me a little Mexican lunch there. Okay. Anyway, onto the comics. These are the ones where I have no idea where they came from. It's not coming to me. It's not like me. May have got them at the comic book shop on when the owner gave them to me. But more or less got these Justice League Unlimited, Unlimited. Excuse me, 90s. Okay, Justice League United. Okay, got, number 4. I've heard great things about that one. Everybody. I thought it was going to be titled Justice League Canada the way they were acting, but you know. Then I got another Forever Evil crossover, number 27. And then I may have already had these ordered and they haven't come in yet through my online service. But I think these are the issues with the Doom Patrol in them. And as much as the pacing and the changes they made in DC is just not fitting my taste, hope you can't go wrong with the Doom Patrol. 32 and 33. And I've kind of followed some of the Justice League here, and the idea of Lex Luthor ever joining a superhero team just blows my mind. Anyway, okay. So these were the free books I definitely got from D&J Hobby Shop. Okay, all right. Piecing together little exiles here. Got a couple beat up copies of number 17 when Judd Winnick was still on the book. They brought in Jim Calafor on art, and then number 18. And I'm a Mike McCone guy. I like when Mike McCone does art. I have some annuals he did for DC back in the day on Legion Pick Your Year, with Lobo and stuff in there and stuff. I just always loved his stuff. Very underrated artist. And then I think this filled up my this mini series. I just got this because a lot of people really liked it, and I like villains. Okay, I like reading about the villains. I think they're just better, more interesting characters. 9 times out of 10 and stuff. So basically, something happened. I can't remember if this was around Infinite Crisis or 52, but it's the mid to late 2000s there, and can't believe I'm going blank, man. I'm usually like on top of all that stuff, but anyway, all the heroes apparently scooped up all the villains and put them on a planet. So this is Salvation Run, written by Bill Willingham, who does Fables. But here's number 2 and number 3. You can from the if the covers tell the story like they're supposed to, you got Joker and Luthor going for alpha male status, and everybody's going to one side or the other. And of course, you got I want to say it's Grodd in Majora Mala because he's holding the brain, and a good talking gorilla fight is good, but having one with a French accent is even better. So woohoo. And then number six. So hopefully I have them all now. Maybe missing one issue and stuff. So something's on that. Yeah, but Luthor versus Joker. I kind of figured if it was anything, it would be worth something. Okay, so these are the books where I got all in trade. I didn't spend a dime, and I actually walked out with $10 and $10 in credit. With what I took. Okay, so I'll just go through them if I remember anything. Now this book came out. What year was it? I think I was like 12 or 13, and I could not stand Barry Windsor Smith's art at the time. I loved his anatomy, but what I could not get past was the weird colors he used and his faces. I could not stand how he drew faces and stuff. Around high school and then the Valiant era in the early 90s and stuff, I became a fan. I mean, it was just genius and stuff. And I've had this one two, 3 times, and I'm really glad I got it. But this is Life, Death 2, X-Men 198. I think Brady Windsor Smith did all the art and all the colors in it, and it's a Storm story. So I haven't read it in a while, so I will not comment on it and stuff. But I just know that it had a haunting effect. I think between the art and Claremont and some of the things they were doing, and I want to say that she messed around with Forge in this one. This kind of talked about her forgotten. Nowadays, it's not only the X Men almost forgotten by Marvel, but they forgot about Storm having this really intense relationship. Maybe intimate's the better word with Forge. I was gonna put these at the bottom, but they're on the top. Got this. Could not believe this, man. But I got Amazing Spider-Man 188. That is an awesome Dave Cockrum cover with Terry Austin inks. And it seems like I thought this was a Silver Age book, but I'm thinking of the book with I'm thinking. How funny. Um, Now I'm thinking of the book with the Multiman on the cover, going after Spidey. I don't know. For some reason, this harkens back to another cover for me. I'm not sure, but 188, really good condition, and anything under 200 of Amazing Spider-Man, those books are getting pricey and pricier, and now it's getting towards 300 and back. So if you're an Amazing Spider-Man collector, I would say start grabbing those earlier issues. I've had these 2 or 3 times, but I think I've pieced together a pretty good run of this. I had this in hardback, which is why I sold them. I kind of want the originals back and stuff because the hardback didn't really have the covers the way I wanted them. But this is again Brady Windsor Smith doing his Weapon X in Marvel Comics Presents 72. This told not so much the origin of Wolverine, but it told how he got his adamantium. It shows you the process and the torture he went through to get him, and probably how they put I want to say the false memories, but you can kind of read into that. I don't know. So I got 72 and I got 80. 80 is where he made his big escape. Barry Windsor Smith wrote these, drew these, and it's still an anthology series. All of them still have other stories going on, except for I think it was like 82, 81, 82. I don't know. They had an issue where they just gave it all to them, so that's good stuff. And yes, I got a Liefeld cover. But always this cracked me up because this is X-Men 245. The X-Men after Inferno, make sure I'm remembering my crossovers right. They had so much. They had Fall Inferno, Fall of the Mutants, and a few other things. But anyway, they walked through the Siege Perilous, the X-Men did, which was you have to know who Roma is and all that stuff. It was Chris Claremont had been building up some of these characters for a while and pulled some from Alan Moore's run of Captain Britain in England, so people weren't really up on everything. But there was this magical portal you go through called the Siege Perilous because everybody thought the X-Men were dead, and the Siege Perilous had actually made them uh, invisible to electronics, and that's actually like a hanging plot line from Claremont's days. The X-Men should never been able to be filmed since then. Now I've heard there's an issue here of something or a little panel there where it got cleaned up, but I've yet to see it. Doesn't mean it's not out there. But anyway, but they ended up, they had a few plot lines. Storm got turned into a little girl and she met Gambit, and this happened and that happened, and a few of the X-Men ended up all over the place. But they ended up finally going to Australia is where they ended up. And I may have this all backwards. I don't know. Maybe they were in Australia and then all that happened. but I don't know. Anyway, so Rob Liefeld came on as a guest penciler, and X-Men are in Australia. They're invisible to electronics and everything. And they turn around and DC's Invasion crossover came out. And what happened was is the battleground for the Kuns and uh, the controllers and what was it, controllers? Oh my god, I'm just not on it today again. Anyway, a bunch of aliens came down in the DC universe, and the battleground was Australia. So this is a tongue-in-cheek making fun of Australia, man. This has hidden cameos and stuff in it, poking fun at DC. I mean, you know exactly what it is. They gave the Kuns, I think they were the controllers, is what they were called. They made them green instead of yellow, and didn't put the big. They kept the green teeth. And then you have this outstanding, the Kuns. You can tell who they are if you know who the Kuns are and all the DC aliens are. But you get in there and there's some stuff hidden there. Like you have Chewbacca. I see Darth Vader. You come down here in the black and white portion. You've got Jabba, Boba Fett, Bib Fortuna, E.T., the alien from Aliens, Ridley Scott, Yoda. Who else they got? They got Hawkman in there, and they got the little. I love. If you read Keith Giffen's and Paul Levitt's Legion of Superheroes, there's these little aliens whose heads are nothing but an eyeball, on a stocky little body, which is really cool. But anyway, they make, that's what they do. They went through here and it makes news. Let me find the panel, but it makes news that there's an alien invasion going in Australia, but nobody freaking cares, man. And they have a whole panel here that takes place on the Daily Planet, and you see Jimmy Olsen, and you see the Chief, and there's Clark Kent while he's still a newscaster. They went back to the 70s there, you know, and nobody freaking cares to report it. Like, we ain't got to worry about Australia. We got other stuff to worry about, like the president stuff. So it was always a fun issue, and I sold a huge lot of X-Men, like something like an 85 issue run with a bunch of annuals and stuff back in '93. I sold it for like $200 back then. So piecing that back together. Then I found this, which was really cool, but apparently this is the last issue of Tomb of Dracula. This is number 70. And it's from 1979, so I'm guessing Marvel Wolfman was wrapping things up and getting ready to head over to DC to do the Teen Titans and whatnot. History being made, but the art in this is beautiful. Gene Colan, Tom Palmer. I mean, I looked at this and it just reminded me how bland a lot of the comic book art is today. I mean, just the inks of Tom Palmer. I mean, I get it, man. I've heard people who are Gene Colan nuts and stuff, and I always thought he was good, but I didn't kind of get it. But I was like, bam, this is great. And what's ironic, now that I'm sitting here talking, not only did Roy Thomas end up going to DC, but Gene Colan ended up doing, I think I can't remember if it was Batman or Detective for a while. Plus, he did a miniseries with Steve Gerber called The Phantom Zone. So, it sounds like, a lot of people jumped over there to DC. Gene Colan got over there with Roy Thomas and did Wonder Woman too, now that I think about it. So, hey, you had two-thirds of the great classic Tomb of Dracula team, hitting DC. Okay. And then here's some other, then we'll go through these quick because I'm getting all chatty. Vertigo of the 90s, man, that stuff is standing the test of time. That's all there is to it, man. I read some of the stuff and they get around being dated because it seems like a lot of their comics were either surreal or in their own worlds, like this one in its own time period. I think this takes place in the 30s and 40s. Got some Sandman Mystery Theater. Matt Wagner, Guy Davis came on there for a while. John Watkiss. The issues that Steve Siegel came on there, but when Guy Davis came on there, and I think Guy Davis is huge over there in the Magnolia universe at Dark Horse with BPRD and stuff. Guy Davis, man, I mean, this stuff is ethereal, man. This is stories of the Sandman of the 40s, and it takes place, man. You got like Chinatown and beat music, and it's kind of got a pulpy feel to it for what was going on back there, and you'll have like serial killers, and it's got a whole different take and flavor on it because of the time period that it's going on, and it's kind of weird seeing sex and people acting in real life and stuff. Yet, I mean, it's just so there's an issue too. I remember reading where I was waiting for the Shadow to pop up, but then you have people who are into the occult and stuff, and it just gives it a whole creepy feel to it, man. And of course, the colors and stuff that they do, you know, really makes it feel like, you know. Moving on, number 5. Love that cover. It's an actual photograph, it looks like, of someone playing this up. But these are from 1993 also. I think I'm hoping I have number 1. Number 14, actual photographs make it feel kind of like the real world at that time. Number 15, like I said, more photographs that they took for the covers, which is just amazing. 21, and 23, 63, and 64. Love that. So yeah, you're probably going to be getting more of those, you know. I picked this up, 0 Hour. I'm a Legion of Superheroes fan, and this was actually kind of like closing the door again. It answered who the Time Trapper was. People had been waiting on who the Time Trapper was for so long. They just accepted he was the Time Trapper, and it was never going to happen. He was a huge Legion villain going back to the Silver Age, and it was kind of a surprise who it is. So, all right. Took a chance on this because I needed one more book to do the deal. I had 19 books, and he agreed to give me 20. So I grabbed this. This is Peter David doing Spy Boy meets Young Justice from Dark Horse. I figured, why not? I don't like the art on the cover, so I'm hoping that it's better inside. Okay. Grabbed some of these. Oh, look at that. I didn't know that. But I got Silver Surfer 100 with a big hologram cover on there. And it looks like I picked up an Incredible Hulk by accident. I didn't know that was on the back of it. 440 Ghost of the Future. It looks like Angel Medina art with that god awful Mike Deodato designed Thor costume when they did the crossing or whatever it was in the Avengers. Don't worry if you don't remember it because they acted like it never happened. It was really bad. Grab this. You know, it's got some dog-eared corners on it, but a special 48-page first issue of Alien Legion, Carl Potts and some other people. So, figured why not. Never saw that before. Grab this. A nice mint copy of Secret Wars number 1. They had the entire miniseries except for number 8, of course, which had first appearance of Spider-Man's black costume. Grabbed me a Heavy Metal from 1998 because it has a big interview with Neil Gaiman featuring Death and Betrayal Neil Gaiman around 1998. So that was really cool. Sandman had wrapped up or was getting ready to wrap up. So happy to find this. Edgar Allan Poe, Conqueror Worm by Richard Corbin. I fell down because I didn't know this was coming out. And by the time I heard about it, it was gone. And I just love these worms on the cover. Look at those little mouths protruding like a dog penis, you know. Little H.P. Lovecraft. I finished up my Hellboy in Hell 6-issue miniseries. They had all 6 of them, but I just got the ones I needed. You know, maybe I should have went back and gotten another number 1, but that's okay. Oh, another sign. Oh, look at that. Another one. Number 34, Sandman Mystery Theater. Okay. Bucky O'Hare, number 1 from Continuity Comics. Not his first appearance. This is by Larry Hama and Mike Golden from 1990. And the art kind of gives me the feel like Continuity Comics or somebody had these pages floating around for a while before they finally put them out. Continuity Comics was really slow. But this definitely, even though it's 1990, it wasn't that far from the 80s, it's definitely got an 80s feel to it. So that's always good stuff. I just got this thing. I'm wondering about Bucky O'Hare. I'm just wondering. I feel like there's going to be a comeback. This is part 3 of, I'm assuming, a 3-issue series by Roy Thomas and Gil Kane. The Ring of the Nibelung, Nibelung. But I think this is based off of some fantasy novel. I'm not sure. That's why if Roy Thomas is on it, it's probably getting adapted. Okay. But Gil Kane had this really thing, man. In the 80s, man, he was picking up on his fantasy artwork and stuff. His sci-fi / fantasy stuff, man. He was really getting out there with sword and sorcery and stuff. So it's always good to have. Found 2 issues of this. 46 and 54 of Usagi Yojimbo. I'm glad I'm picking these up. Stan Sakai, who does this, first time I saw him, he was the letterer on Gru, and then he writes these stories about a rabbit samurai or whatever he is, bodyguard, Ronin. I haven't read any. I've got 3 or 4 issues, and I'm wanting more before I read them. But I know that it's authentic history of feudal Japan. That Usagi is walking through and stuff. So yes, he's a rabbit. So and the first time I saw Usagi actually was something with to do with the Ninja Turtles. So okay, little bits and pieces of my Quasar number 28, Greg Capullo artwork from 1991, I think. Yeah, you know, Mr. Batman nowadays, Mr. Spawn after this and stuff. Getting some of that cosmic stuff going. Doom Patrol number 40 by Grant Morrison. I already had these, but I'm going to start picking them up. Working on a second set. But these Grant Morrison issues, and I cannot believe this is also from 1990. I swear this stuff was so far ahead of its time. I thought it was more mid 90s that Grant Morrison was on Doom Patrol. The fact that he was, you know, when he came on Doom Patrol when it was still the 80s, and it was after Invasion that he came on, man, this stuff was so ahead of its time. It's like a lot of the Valiant work caught up with it, you know. I always get this. Sometimes this is worth something, sometimes it's not. It's the promo for Zero Hour, and you know, these little promos every now and then you find somebody that wants into it. This is how they were showing you who the villain was, you know, who's behind Zero Hour in the promo. They blacked them out, you know. Okay, got to get this because I'm about to whip out my Infinity Gauntlet. No, not here, out of the box, and my Infinity War, which is blowing my mind. I was, you know, but anyway, I grabbed this because it's what if Silver Surfer possessed the Infinity Gauntlet, and it's got Ron Mars doing the artwork, man. Very rarely did you actually get a top grade writer on that. I mean, Kurt Busiek did a few. I mean, you always had somebody, man, but when they get somebody, you know, top notch. I mean, Ron Mars was actually writing the Silver Surfer, but yeah, Infinity War. Man, it was really strange. I've had Infinity War. You had Infinity Gauntlet that came out, and then you had it turned into a trilogy. Second part of the trilogy was Infinity War. I wasn't that big of a fan of it because this was the one where you could tell that this was a money grabbing crossover, even though it still had Thanos and Warlock and, you know, Jim Starlin doing what he had to do and stuff. But I've been trying to sell that thing for years. What is going on with the hat? Anyway, I've been trying to sell that thing for years. I actually put it on eBay twice for $1 for the whole set. I think it was six or seven issues, and nobody would touch it. And now all of a sudden, you know, I was on a Google chat, and I was like, "What's the deal with this?" And I found out that two of the Avengers movies may be based on it. I don't know. So yeah, it just blows my mind that now I saw on eBay that sets were going for $60 to $80, and I saw a number one that was CGC graded, and it was going for $200. I'm like, and I looked up on a few websites that are price guides, and the books are actually still worth $4 a piece now. So who knows? I always grab this sketch cover out of the Wizard Comics for Earth X. They claimed that since Alex Ross had done Kingdom Come with his version of the future of DC, Wizard claimed that they were like, well, let's get Alex Ross to do what he would do with Marvel. And then all of a sudden, Earth X became a reality. And I never believed that. I never believed, and I still don't believe that this was just something nice of Wizard saying, "Won't you take some Marvel characters, Alex, and all this stuff?" And lo and behold, Marvel just decides to pick it up. No, no. I think it was a work. I still think it's a work. I picked this up, and I'm not going to regret it because I was going through all the boxes. I thought this had art by Jose Garcia Lopez, one of my favorite. And it's actually another Lopez, but that's okay. It's a Faces of Evil with Cobra, number one. Okay, you know, no biggie. Then I got Abe Sapien, the Haunted Boy. No idea if this is a one shot or anything like that. Some of those Dark Horse Hellboy books are there's so many and stuff. You know, you're better off just kind of looking at the cover date and seeing if they give you an idea where the story takes place. Then I got this one. I don't know if this is the miniseries. I don't know what volume this is. It's January of '99, so you know. And I'm assuming this is probably the first Birds of Prey number one after when it was an ongoing series. So right there on the cover, man. You know, Oracle and Black Canary. I don't know if Huntress is in it yet. So there you go. All right, guys. That was the haul. Went a little bit long. That's cool. Later.